Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to make Zelda's sword. It is not the Master Sword, but a sword that you can see her fly around in Twilight Princess, though she doesn't actually use it, but it makes a good prop. So here's the tutorial. I also want to warn you that everything in the tutorial has to be done for both sides of the sword, even though I may not specify. So here's the tutorial, please enjoy. So first things first, just like for all of these Zelda costume tutorials, you're going to want to go to my website, download the patterns, print them. They are printable on regular letter size paper and they are to scale, and you are going to want to cut them out and cut them out in the cardboard. The ones that have a ×2 on them means that you have to cut out 2 copies. For this specific piece, you want the 2 copies to form the one, so you will paste them together because the entire thing could not fit on letter size paper. For the blade of the sword, I did not make an actual pattern because the length that you want it to be depends on your body proportions. However, I did make the width 2 inches if you want to use that as a standard. You may also find yourself having to paste 2 pieces of cardboard together and cutting it a bit to get the perfect length. The next step is to just paste the cutouts together to build the basic frame of the sword. After that, you're going to want to cut some strips of cardboard 1/2 inch wide and paste them perpendicular to the sword as shown in the picture. This is going to give your sword dimension when you're actually paper macheing it. Cut the edges of these 1/2 inch pieces so that they slant downward. So for this little piece, all you're going to do is cut one of the pieces in half and hot glue the 2 halves perpendicular to the piece that you did not cut. Then you're going to hot glue it to the top of the handle. Next, make your mixture of glue, water, and newspaper strips, and we're going to paper mache. I regret saying that I do not have a picture of the paper mache blade. However, if you look, you will see that you must wrap the strips of newspaper in the direction that the lines are going, making sure that there are no spaces in between. You also want to do the paper mache of the blade tightly so that it is smooth and straight. You're also gonna paper mache the top of the sword except for the handle and the little attachment. As you can also see, I added more strips of cardboard all around the handle and a few pieces in between the handle and that part to the left of the picture. This is to provide more support when you're holding it by the handle. I didn't add the details to the top of the sword, but if you want to, you can use the same hot glue method that I did in the armor video to do so. After this, it gets pretty easy. All you have to do is paint the blade white and paint it over with silver. It doesn't matter if any paint gets on the part of the sword that is not the blade because you will just paint over it anyway. Now to do the top of the sword, you are going to use some form of paint that you can put on a brush, poster, acrylic, doesn't matter, and paint it on. The reason you're doing this is because unless you're super accurate with using spray paint, you are probably not going to get that V shape in the middle between the blade and the top part. So you're going to do that with a brush and black paint, then go over it with a brush and gold paint as done in the armor tutorial video. You're also going to paint that little top piece gold. Now to finally tackle the handle, you are going to cut a long strip of purple fabric and wrap it around. I used an old skirt that I had to provide the fabric and I cut off the hem, and I strongly recommend if you have an old skirt, just cut off the hem and use it because it is really a lot easier than having to cut a piece of fabric and sew the sides to make them neat. Finally, use a needle and thread to sew the end of the fabric to the rest of it so that it actually doesn't unravel, and after doing that, you're done.